All right, hey, Peter Rosenberg, my guy, Stat Guy Greg. Don't worry, I'll throw you the mic, Stat Guy Greg. From the GP Podcast, we're here, and I'm excited. I have the cast of and director of the Marine 5. Very, very exciting. Marine 5 Battleground. And first of all, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Obviously, this has been your baby now for 3 different films. Tell me a little bit about how everyone else here ended up being a part of this Marine.
So I think the way WWE Studios wanted to do it was they wanted to make the biggest impact on this Marine with bringing as many WWE superstars as they possibly could. And these guys all had to audition, and they did absolutely incredible in their auditions. And WWE said, you know what? We want the most WWE superstars in a movie that we've ever had. And we did it, and now you watch this movie, and I think every time you see a WWE superstar, you're not really seeing them as their characters in WWE, but you're seeing these new characters that they bring to the table, and in Marine 5, and it's a lot of fun to sit there and you see the faces, and you're like, ooh, there's another one, you know, you're always going, wow, it's just an impactful thrill ride, and it's so much fun.
Maryse, it's got to be a cool thing for you too. I mean, you've had quite a ride from starting with the WWE many years ago. I remember very well your vignettes leading up to your big moment. Then you make it all the way to Divas Champion, and now here you are acting in a film with your husband. Did you imagine at the very beginning that this was something that was a possibility down the road?
No, definitely not. I mean. And it's funny you talk about my career. Just, this Sunday, tomorrow, we are going to be in the ring together. Just starting there. I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago that we were going to be working and performing in the ring together, I would have probably laughed in your face. But it's happening, and things like that don't really happen. And now we have that, and we have the movie, and it's just completely, it's amazing, And we work together every single day, but every day it's a new thing. And then that's why it's always challenging, it's always fun. And in this movie, you get to see a different part of me, a different character. Because the Maryse that you know in WWE is completely different than the character that I'm playing in this movie. So I think it's really interesting, and it's fun for the fans to see that.
Bo, I have something for you. On the flip side of the coin, career-wise, you are the embodiment of old school pro wrestling family. I was talking to your brother this weekend about your grandfather, and he was telling me about Thanksgiving in your house, and Uncle Barry, and everyone being around. And what do you think Blackjack would have said, your grandfather would have said at the idea there's going to be a time where because you're a WWE superstar, you're going to be acting in a legitimate film?
Well, Blackjack himself, he probably would have said, that's exactly how I pictured you. He knew we had it in us. Everybody, growing up, we were never regular kids. I mean, we were wild ones, and we were always the guys coming into the room making a lot of noise and wanted to have the attention. And it carried over into our careers, and we wanted to be superstars, and it led into what we're doing now and all the experiences we grew up with, having different family members and my father's friends that are WWE superstars and legends, and seeing them in different regular occasions. I mean, we grew up different. And I think Blackjack, if you're asking me what my grandfather would think of watching this, he'd say, hell yeah.
Curtis, same kind of question to you. I mean, same thing. You're from Larry the Axe heading through your dad. When you're a kid watching your dad, and of course your dad is, one of the, no pun intended, pun absolutely intended, one of the most perfect in-ring performers of all time. Did you ever think it going beyond like, I'd like to wrestle one day. I'd like to win the IC title like my dad. But were you ever thinking that there are these other levels you could get to?
No, this is something, wrestling is something I've always wanted to do. Growing up watching my grandfather, watching my father wrestle. So I always knew I could be successful in it. I always strived to become Intercontinental Champion like my father. But I remember back when my father was young, early in his career, he was in some cheesy wrestling movie, and I was actually telling my wife about this, how, I can't believe I get to be in a movie too, like my dad was, but I never really thought, I always thought it'd be cool to be in a movie, be an actor, and I never really thought it would guaranteed happen, and it did, and it still is, I can't believe, like, watching it today, I can't believe that. I couldn't believe it until I actually sat down and watched it now, and it's unreal just to look at myself in that light, and hope to someday do it again.
Heath, I just want to say this, and you guys who all know much better, you can jump in if I'm wrong, and I'm just a wrestling fan who's overstepping my bounds, but correct me if I'm wrong. You are a guy who, your character's taken on many different roles. You've had different roles in the company. You're a guy who is a utility guy who makes other people look good all the time. But quietly, I think those who know that you're one of the best around. And when guys are trying to come back, when a guy's trying to get back in shape, no matter who it may be, people want to go down to Florida and work with you. You're someone who really has a pivotal role in the company that I think outsiders might not totally realize. Is it cool for you to get a chance like this to kind of shine and show your chops?
I mean, of course, it's just like you said, in my wrestling career, I've been a roller coaster ride, but whatever they give me, I always just try to do the best that I can with it, like, it doesn't matter if it was Nexus Core, 3OB, one-man band, me with a wife with 20 kids, like, I don't know what, but it's like, here you're in the Marine 5, oh, really? Yeah, you're gonna be a badass biker dude that kicks ass. I'm like, hold on now, what? Hold on, really? So it's like one of those things that's like, I've always wanted to do it, never thought I would do it, but I'm thankful to have the opportunity to do it. But just like I said, I just had to become a biker. I was a badass, so I did my best to become that biker, So
You watch any Sons of Anarchy to get in the zone?
all the time, man, all the time.
To any of you guys, try to take us a little bit through what makes a fight scene different and how much of a factor is it is. I can't remember if it was Austin, I heard a former superstar talking about how one of the things that's strange is getting used to doing things once. Maybe when SmackDown was taped, you get an opportunity to do something a couple times, but for the most part, everything you did was once, and there's a little bit of freedom in that, as opposed to like, we're doing it again, we're doing it again, we're doing it again. Take me through that experience a bit. Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, we did the same scene 100 different times, and you have to nail exactly what you did the previous scene every single time you do it again. So I think the hardest thing for me, the fight scene was pretty easy. It was fun to do, but the hardest thing for me to do after was me laying there dead, for like forever on ice, like cold cement in the same spot. I have an axe,
That's the hardest for me too.
Oh, it was laying there forever,
Yeah,
but
but don't you guys have to do something like that every once in a while, but granted it's maybe not the axe there, but you're laying somewhere outside the ring waiting for something to happen.
we just lay on the ground for a 3 count.
Let me tell you what my hardest part is. There was this, you might even miss it. There is this device, and I have to carry it as an EMT all throughout the movie. Now, granted, we could have skipped it, we didn't have to have it because nobody really notices it, but I want people to notice this. I am carrying a bag that is 80 pounds, and I have to run with it. Upstairs, downstairs, all throughout the car park. It was nonstop, and it wasn't just like, oh, let's do one take. No, we need another one. We need another one. We need it again. Again, I would like to get this short now, all right? And I'm sitting, I'm sweating, I'm drenched. My legs are getting the workout of its life. The fight scenes were, I think, the easiest part for all of us because that's kind of what we do in the WWE. And, and it's fun, and it's gritty, it's hardcore. And, with actors, sometimes they don't want, any kind of, if someone like I think I punched you once. And he was, I'm sorry, and we just kept, I didn't really say, we just kept going, and I go, I punched you, and he goes, yeah, it's fine. Because, but an actor would have been like, oh, and we would have lost the day. Like, he was just like, yeah, it's fine, we get punched all the time, it happens.
All right, as director, any retort to that? I mean, how do they handle it? And tell me what it's like working with guys who, people may not, at first everyone goes, oh, you're not actors, you're wrestlers. Tell me what it's like to actually work with these guys coming from the experience they have.
Well, these guys are very, very good at what they do in the ring as WWE superstars. So, and they've got this natural charisma about them, which is obviously why they've got to this stage and in their careers. So it's very easy for me when they come to set because they bring that and they bring their personalities and their charm and their wit and their work ethic, which is really amazing compared to, that every morning they're up like, when are we rehearsing, when are we doing this? When are we doing that? Like, and they're so like, let's go, let's do it, which is so like refreshing for me as a filmmaker, because it's like, great, all on board. You know, I'm not having to battle with them to try and get them to hold an 80-pound bag. It's just like, yeah, man, I'll hold that 80-pound bag. And I'm like, you sure? Because, you know, you're going to be holding it for a lot of the movies. Like, yeah, man, I'm definitely going to do that. I want to do that. I think he was like,
when we do press.
do you know what? I think he actually went, put some more weight in that bag.
I think I did. I didn't get to work out as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, he wanted like 20 more pounds in that bag. I was like, Mike, you sure? He's like, 30. I was like, okay.
Greg, what do you have down there, stat guy, Greg? Go for it.
So, Curtis, for you first. I noticed the axe, and I noticed the German suplex, and were there any other, first of all, with the axe, was that intentional as a tribute to your grandfather? And were there any other nods to you guys' career in WWE and professional wrestling that we might not have noticed?
Great question.
The axe, to be honest, it's all a coincidence. It was like, it was just brought up to me that I was breaking the glass and taking the axe out, and you know, I added the Axe Man Coming thing, but that was total coincidence as far as that goes. And what was your other question you said?
I noticed the German suplex too. So were there any other things that WWE fans might have missed or like would be interested to see that came up in the movie, like little Easter eggs?
No, I think that was intentional too, just to, you know, have a little wrestling feel to the fight scene and all that kind of stuff. But no, I think that was all just added in because I am a professional wrestler. But other than that, everything else was just, it was a coincidence.
You know what was weird about that move though is because the whole movie, well, a large part of the movie is set in an underground parkade, and the ceilings aren't very high in a parkade, so you really can't get the swing. If you're lifting someone up, they're really going to get, like, their legs are going to get tangled in pipes and things like that. So that was like something that these guys had to navigate.
Yeah, speaking of that, speaking of the low ceilings, so there was a part where I had to jump off of a truck and hit Joe. And when I was literally like up on the truck like this and trying to make it look as cool as possible. You want to jump up and like wham, get that like AJ Styles type elbow down, you know what I mean? But I couldn't jump because I'm crunched like this, and I'm like, eh. So you have to make it what do, you know, and you want to do it the best you can. And actually, I watched it. I was like, there's no way this elbow is going to come off good. And I was like, oh,
That's not bad.
you got the shot.
Right, and that's got to be interesting though, to have sort of limitations you don't have, because you guys are in the ring. You know how to do things in a way that not only work on camera, but have an impact when you guys are doing live shows at 20,000 in front of 20,000 people, which a lot of other actors may not understand what it's like to.
Yeah,
it's like having stage acting.
James is not standing there going, "You suck, you suck, you suck." You know, boo, boring.
Well, that didn't happen to you last night at the Hall of Fame.
No, it did not. I was actually shocked.
I got to tell you, I was a little bit surprised by that as well.
I was like,
have you guys been watching you don't know how the Mrs. Story works? Okay.
Look at each other.
we looked at each other,
Yeah,
and I was like,
okay.
are they saying what I think they're saying?
All right,
Okay.
Greg, you got one last one?
I do have one more. This one's for the director. How did you have the stones, should I say, to ask these guys to use stunt men and stunt women? Where did you get that?
Good questions, that guy, Greg. I appreciate that.
He has an English charm.
By stones, do you mean the bottle,
Bollocks.
the minerals?
Minerals. Yes, the minerals.
The minerals.
I don't think I've ever heard them called minerals.
I've never heard that till today. Is that a British thing?
Minerals.
You can steal that. You can use it. You know, I just, you know, I put my big boy pants on and go and ask him.
His Canadian tuxedo. I don't know if you noticed.
I go
wearing denim on denim.
You got it, you know.
You did film it in Vancouver. You're still in Vancouver.
Still in Vancouver mode. You know, you kind of strap those nuts on, go up and ask them, and then
Do you get a look? Do they give you a look?
they give you the look, and they're like, they growl,
We didn't really use the stunt doubles.
and they growl at you, and then they're like, and then I just sort of call on the system. I'm like, can you get me some new underwear? And no, I'm lying. They're really, to be honest, I don't even
You saying
think
you didn't need new underwear?
I don't even.
You wore the same underwear the entire time.
You got me. Well, listen, can you cut that out? Yeah. So basically, I don't think they even had stuntmen, guys. I think they had them there for safety, because if there's some sort of dangerous move and there's bikes involved and guns involved, and
you know, they may have the option if they want to do it, or there's something to do it.
Well-
And it's to these guys.
Well, Naomi already had to leave, but I want to ask a question about her last question for you guys. I was going to say that no disrespect to anyone sitting here, but the best athlete in the film has already left the stage.
Are you kidding? The best athlete in the
The best athlete in the company. I mean,
Man or woman, best athlete in the
Would you,
WWE.
I've been saying that recently. I think that's true. Is that a known thing that people think in general?
I look forward to her comeback every time. I can't wait to see what she does next. Like when she last Tuesday re-debuted and came out, I was like, oh, she's gonna hit the girl, and then all of a sudden she runs out and hurricanranas her. I'm like, didn't she just hurt her knee? Like, and she's already doing hurricanranas, like springboards. I mean, she's fantastic. She's fast. She's furious. And even in the fight scene, it was just like she brings an energy that's you know, it was so much fun to have her and you know, do that, because it's like you're with a girl, and sometimes when you're with a girl, you don't want to punch a girl on screen, but the way she came at me with a knife, but no, on screen, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things. Like it was like she comes with a knife and like swinging, and I mean she was fast, furious, and just brought it home.
Well, listen, Marine 5 Battleground, congratulations to all of you guys. Really happy to get to see all of you guys on screen. It's very, very cool. I think it's dope, Miz. You keep doing these things, and now we have an opportunity for your other superstars to shine. I think it's great. So thank you guys so much for the time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's get a still